Welcome to the Soulful Insights podcast. I'm your host, Tandy. And before we begin the podcast today, if you are a regular listener or you're enjoying what I offer on this podcast, please consider donating at the coffee link. It really helps me with the podcast and helps me keep producing these episodes. So I really appreciate all of those of you who support this podcast. So let's dive in. Today we're going to be talking about a powerful tool for healing, very powerful for healing trauma, emotional wounds, transformation, stress relief, and that is breath work. Whether you're new to breath work or you've practiced it before, this episode will guide you through its benefits, how it works, and why it's such a profound practice for releasing stored emotions and trauma. At the end of the podcast, I just want to let you know I am going to guide you through a really short breathwork practice. It's not a full practice. It's just to give you kind of an idea of different types of breathwork and different breathwork exercises that you might run into during an actual breathwork practice. I just want you to kind of experience some of this for yourself. This will be more of a comfortable breath work. We're not going to get into really intense breathing. This should not bring up any anxiety, but if you have any trauma around breath or anything like that, and it starts to bring up anything for you, just, go ahead and stop and don't continue with it. I just want to put that out there. I want to make sure that this is a good experience for you. And I want you to be comfortable. So I just want to let you know at the end, if you want to participate in the breath work, I would love to have you just kind of experience some of these breath work techniques with me in a very gentle way. Okay, so get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee, and let's explore the world of breath work together. So for those of you that are new to this, what is breath work? If you've never done it before, breathwork in its simplest form is the practice of consciously controlling your breathing to bring about physical, mental, and emotional healing. And while breathing is something that we all do automatically, obviously, the act of intentionally shifting how we breathe can transform how we feel, think, and experience life. So some of these breathwork practices will actually allow you to tap into the subconscious mind. Some of them can be very intense. They can bring up anxiety in the beginning, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, that you kind of have to ride that wave to tap into that subconscious mind. And that is where we really see the transformation happening. So there's a lot of different styles of breath work, from gentle and calming techniques like diaphragmatic breathing to more intense practices like holotropic breath work, which can access the subconscious mind and deep emotional states. Today we're going to focus on breath work that helps release stored emotions and trauma, a process that many people find deeply healing. One common experience that beginners struggle with is that many breathwork sessions, especially those that are focusing on trauma release, can be extremely intense in the first 5 to 8 minutes. As you begin the intense breathing patterns, it can bring up anxiety. It can even almost feel like it's triggering a panic attack. And I just want you to be aware of this, because a lot of people will stop and say, oh, this isn't for me. This is bringing up anxiety, and not realize that it will do that. And it can do that for people that don't really even have much of an issue with anxiety. It really does feel like a panicked breathing. And your brain is like, oh, we're stressed because of the breath. And so it kind of brings those emotions up, which is good, but you do have to ride the wave a little bit. So in my initial experiences with breathwork sessions, I would get on YouTube or online, and I even purchased some breathwork, not like one-on-one breathwork, but just sessions that were recorded that you could use at any time. And my anxiety would get to a point where it was so intense, I felt like there's no way I can handle this. And I would quit breathwork sessions within the first 5 minutes. And I never got to experience the true transcendent healing that breathwork offers because as soon as that anxiety would get so intense, I was like, I can't do this. This is not for me. And I do struggle with anxiety and panic attacks and immense childhood trauma. And so I just felt like maybe I couldn't handle it. But I want to emphasize that for beginners, the first 5 to 8 minutes can be really, really intense. But your body will get into a rhythm and that anxiety is going to subside. You've got to ride the wave a little bit. You've got to push yourself in order to get that healing that you're looking for. It's definitely not just a transcendent calm experience. It's really going to take you into those emotions. So my first experience with intense trauma release breath work was absolutely transformative to me on a level I have done so many healing journeys and healing things in my life. But this was honestly the most transformative for me. But in the beginning, probably within the first couple minutes, I almost stopped. I was like, oh my gosh, my anxiety is through the roof. I cannot handle this. I was on the verge of a panic attack. The discomfort of this breathing pattern that we were doing was just too intense for me. I thought it was literally impossible for me to continue. And the facilitator kept encouraging participants to surrender. Just, it's going to be okay. I know. And he was actually acknowledging, I know this is intense. I know it's bringing up anxiety. It's okay. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is normal. And so surrendering, he kept saying, just surrender, just surrender. Well, that's something I have a difficult time doing. And a lot of trauma survivors do. You want to be in control because that's where you feel safe, right? And so surrendering to something that feels terrifying, like anxiety, is really difficult. But I just thought, you know what? I want to experience this. I've never been able to make it through. I want to experience this. And so I did. I was like, I'm just going to let go. And when I started to let go, I started getting into a breathing pattern. And about 5 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to surrender. I'm just going to let it go. It's fine. And shortly after I did that, my breath fell into that rhythm. The anxiety started to go down. And I was like, oh, okay, this is okay. It can be intense, but it is a very powerful practice that is transformative on so many levels. We went through, in my breath work, we went through screaming, like releasing vocally, which is very, very transformative. And this actually brought me to a place where I wanted to become a breathwork practitioner because of how transformative it was. So that was my experience, and I wanted to share that with you so that you can kind of understand when you're going in that this can be intense. This is not like calm breathing like yoga. it's not like that. It can be, but generally if you're going to deal with trauma, it can be quite intense. So how does breathwork actually work? When we breathe deeply and intentionally, it changes the way our nervous system operates. Most of the time we take shallow breaths, and I am definitely guilty of this. This keeps us in a stressed or anxious state without even realizing it. So a lot of times if you just tune into your breath when you're feeling anxious, take a deep breath and let it out, you'll notice a release. You may have to do that a little bit, but you can do it at work. You can do it anywhere. Connecting to your breath is something you can do anywhere. When you start breathing deeply, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that helps you relax, rest, and heal. So when you're getting tense, your breath naturally gets short and shallow. And that's activating nervousness and a state of stress. So all you have to do is start breathing more deeply. And that's something that you can calm anxiety in the moment. That is not going to heal trauma from the past, but it's definitely going to help you reset in the moment. So definitely use that when you're at work, or if you have social anxiety or anything like that. Connect to your breath and just breathe more deeply and just kind of stay connected. That will definitely help. Beginners may enjoy these more relaxing breathwork sessions that are designed to just activate the parasympathetic nervous system and reduce stress in the body. And those do have a benefit, especially for people who tend to have anxiety and stress on a daily basis, and they're just trying to manage here in the now, in the moment. These sessions are gentle and calming. They're not intended, like I said, to transform stored trauma, though. So you are, at some point, going to have to address that stored emotions that are in the body, but it can be transformative on a daily basis. And that can be something that's easier to practice on a daily basis than these major, like hour and a half long ones that are transforming that stored energy, emotions from trauma. It is important to understand the difference in various breathwork styles so that you can get the most out of your practice, so you know what you're going into. And I think a lot of people who have PTSD or who experience trauma and anxiety, it's important for you to know what you're getting yourself into so that you can be mentally prepared for what you're doing. And that's what this podcast is about, is just introducing you to this. There are deeper, more intense styles of breath work, like I said, that are going to allow you to access and release this stored trauma. Your body remembers every emotion and every experience that you've gone through. It's not just a brain thing. Your body, your entire body holds tight muscles and tension, and it holds those stored emotions. When you don't process those emotions properly, they get stored in your body as tension, pain, or stress. Breath work helps to release those emotions by bringing them to the surface in a very safe, controlled way. During an intense breathwork session, people often experience waves of emotion, energy shifts. They can even have visualizations during these sessions. And this is a natural part of the body and process. The mind letting go of old patterns and blockages, they're going to move, they're going to shift. Sometimes it's through this conscious breathing that we access parts of the subconscious mind where those deep-seated traumas are stored. And this is the magic of breath work. When you can access the subconscious mind through your breath work and engage in profound release of that trapped, stored trauma, that transformation then begins to happen in your life. So I also want to say one thing that was interesting is in this session that I actually made it through, the first one I ever made it through, he was explaining the intensity that your hands could literally curl up almost into a ball and you can't move them. And it can be very intense. And you also start to feel kind of energy around your body. It can be very intense. And I had never been told that before. And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. He was giving us a little prep work for this breathwork journey. I was like, oh, that won't happen to me. That's fine. Oh no, it did. My hands completely locked up. They were curled and my fingers were all bent. It's basically like if you bend your fingers and just claw into a fist. And they were stuck like that. And it is literally like someone is wrapping a band around your hands and holding them tight. I just want you to realize that this can happen in a breathwork session. It's normal. It's natural. If it's too intense for you, you can back off the breathing technique that they are using and it will release a little bit. But I just want you to be aware that does happen. The experience can be quite intense. So there are various styles of breathwork, like we've talked about, that are designed to release trauma. And you can explore the options that are available to you and decide which technique resonates most with you. I'm just going to introduce some of these techniques to you so that you can kind of understand what's available. We have the holotropic breathwork. This uses intense, fast-paced breathing patterns over extended periods of time, typically in a group setting with music. These are the types that are going to get that cramping in the hands. You may get vibration sensations going up and down your body. I mean, you can feel like you have one of those vibrating massagers all over your body. You may feel like someone has pumped up a blood pressure cuffs on your legs, so it's very hard squeezing on the legs. You're going to get a lot of different sensations during this type of breath work. This style creates an altered state of consciousness similar to a dream or a trance. You are going to access that subconscious mind as the breathing intensifies The rational thinking mind quiets down, and that's what's allowing the access to the subconscious. This provides profound healing. In this state, unresolved emotions, past traumas, and suppressed memories can surface, offering an opportunity to release and then heal. People often experience vivid imagery, emotional breakthroughs, profound realizations, movement of that trauma during these sessions. They're very, very powerful. So that is one form. We also have rebirthing breath work. This can be similar. Sometimes there are shamanic methods that are used here and other styles, but rebirthing breath work focuses on a continual circular breathing, in and out, inhale, exhale, which means there are no pauses. A lot of times we don't realize that when we breathe, there are little pauses in between. And this is a rhythmic flow that you're going to get into. And it allows the body to relax into a meditative state. So this is a little bit more gentle, I would say, than the holotropic breathwork. It dissolves mental blocks and resistance in that meditative state. And the conscious mind drifts. The subconscious becomes more accessible in this type of breathwork as well, revealing hidden emotional patterns, traumas, or limiting beliefs. So again, we are transcending our trauma and emotional patterns in rebirthing breathwork. It's just more of a continuous circular breathing rather than the intense breathing of the holotropic breathwork. Many people report reliving birth experiences or early childhood memories, which help resolve deep-seated emotional wounds when going through rebirthing breathwork. This is another style that you can look for if that sounds like something that resonates with you. And then we move into shamanic breathwork. So in this type of breathwork, the breath is often paired with rhythmic drumming or other sound healing elements within this type of breathwork. So you're going to have this like resonance that's going on in the sound in the environment while you are doing the breathwork. This practice is rooted in ancient healing traditions and uses breath as a gateway to non-ordinary states of consciousness. So, through these altered states, participants can connect with the subconscious, again here, access archetypal energies, like an archetypal feminine divine, something like that, and engage, again, with unresolved trauma or anything like that. Connecting with ancestors, there's a lot that goes on in these as well. The shamanic approach often results in symbolic visions and a sense of spiritual or emotional integration, bridging the conscious and subconscious mind. So that's just a basic overview of that. Then we have the Wim Hof method, which combines intense breathing techniques with cold exposure and meditation. So this can be very intense. Okay, I have not experienced this method myself, but this can be very intense. The hyperventilating breathing pattern used in this method stimulates the nervous system and reduces the influence of the thinking mind. So again, we're trying to access the subconscious in this method. But again, that hyperventilating breathing pattern is going to trigger anxiety. I just want you to be aware. Whenever we're using an intense breath pattern, it's going to trigger anxiety in the beginning. And you're going to have to ride that wave until your body gets into the rhythm. It can be very intense. So, participants often describe entering a state where mental chatter fades. They experience clarity, emotional release, contact with deeper subconscious layers in the mind. Though primarily known for physical resilience, the method also allows practitioners to access repressed emotions and unconscious fears, stuff like that. So again, it is primarily known for this physical resilience of this intense breathing techniques with cold exposure and stuff like that. So a very intense experience. But again, you can, go look into the Wim Hof method and read about it and see if that's something that resonates with you if you're looking for some type of breath work to work with. And just so that you know, Wim Hof is WIMHOF, okay? If you want to search that. And then we're going to move into transformational breathwork. And this method emphasizes deep, full, diaphragmatic breathing to oxygenate the body and clear blockages in both the physical and emotional energy systems. By focusing on the breath, participants enter a trance-like state, again, where the subconscious is more easily accessed. So the less intense the breath work you're doing, the more effort it's going to take to access that subconscious mind. But it is allowing you to do that more easily. Transformational breathwork aims to bring old trauma, grief, or stored energy to the surface to be integrated and then released. The session can lead to insights, emotional breakthroughs, a sense of freedom from the subconscious patterns. So a lot of these have very similar purposes, right? We hear a lot about accessing the subconscious mind, emotional breakthroughs, that type of thing. They all are kind of meant to do something similar, but you're going to experience different things in your body, different states of consciousness. Some of them are going to be more intense, like I said, where your hands lock up, you feel a lot of pressure and vibrating in your body, and it can be a really intense experience, while others of them might be a little bit more of a relaxed state that you're entering, meditative state that you're entering into. So when you're looking for breathwork practices, look at a lot of different ones and see which one you feel like is going to work best for you. And these are just a few examples. I'm not going over every possible method. Some combine different methods into their sessions. So this is not meant to be an exhaustive list. It's just kind of an introduction. Okay. So what are the benefits of this? What are you going to get out of spending an hour doing this? Breath work is not just for releasing trauma. It is profound for that, but it has a wide range of benefits that everyone can benefit from breath work. And I want to give you just a few examples of what it can do. So it definitely reduces stress and anxiety. This is great for people who have high demand jobs, very stressful jobs. By activating the parasympathetic nervous system, breath work helps calm your mind and your body. It activates that parasympathetic nervous system by encouraging the deep, slow breathing patterns, which signal to the body to relax and shift away from the fight or flight response driven by your sympathetic nervous system. And when we breathe deeply, particularly into the diaphragm, which some of these do, especially like rebirthing, there's a deep, kind of cyclical breathing that's going on. It sends calming messages to the brain, slowing the heart rate, reducing blood pressure. This physiological response can reduce stress hormones like cortisol. So if you struggle with that, if you exercise really hard, if you struggle with some of the symptoms of higher cortisol levels, this is great for you, allowing the mind and body to just enter a state of rest and recovery. And then you can feel more centered and calm and capable of managing life's challenges and stress. And a regular breathwork practice strengthens that parasympathetic response, making it easier to access and keep yourself calm even when you are in a stressful situation. So finding breathwork sessions that access that and have those type of breathing techniques would be good if that's where your need is, rather than transcending stored trauma, right? So it can boost your emotional resilience. We learn to use our breath to regulate emotions. When we do that, we become more resilient to life's challenges. You may find yourself, after doing a lot of this more calming breath work, or even releasing stored trauma, either way, you may find that in stressful situations you don't get so angry and reactive. This is a really good way to deal with anger management issues and impulsive behaviors that you are trying to transcend. This is great. Through conscious breathing, you learn to regulate the nervous system, allowing yourself to remain calm and centered even when there's a lot of emotional stuff going on. It encourages the release of stored emotions. So sometimes we're storing emotions, layering on top of each other till you get to the point where you can't take anymore. You've got to release that. It's like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. So being able to clear and move those emotions through the body can make you less reactive in your daily life, which is a really huge deal in relationships, and especially in how you're dealing with your children and how you're showing up in your life. So by creating space for this emotional processing and healing, breathwork builds the capacity to face these difficult situations with clarity and composure. It can also enhance your emotional flexibility, making it easier to recover from those challenges and move on with your life. It also improves mental clarity, can clear the fog of stress and overwhelm, and allow you to be more focused in what you're doing in your daily life. By increasing oxygen flow to the brain, it's enhancing cognitive function. When we engage in conscious breathing, this deep rhythmic patterns, we reduce the mind's tendency to race with anxious and overwhelming thoughts and this is where we get anxious, right? We get ruminating thoughts and things are just racing through your mind. You're reviewing discussions that you had with people and worrying what they thought about you, and all this mental chatter gets quieted. And it creates space for you to think more clearly. You have improved decision-making ability. So it is going to help move all of this through so that you can engage in a heightened awareness, making it easier to think with clarity and purpose. Another aspect that a lot of people don't think of is physical health. It oxygenates the body, improves circulation, helps release tension from your muscles. So it can actually enhance physical health by improving the oxygenation throughout your entire body, promoting better circulation, supporting the function of vital organs. Deep intentional breathing techniques help detoxify the body by expelling more carbon dioxide and bringing in more oxygen, nourishing cells and tissues. So regular breath work is going to reduce muscle tension, lower blood pressure, strengthen the immune system by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So by encouraging proper breathing patterns, it can improve lung capacity, support cardiovascular health, and even enhance your digestion. So in aiding and releasing stored stress and tension, you're going to have an overall sense of well-being from your breathwork practice. And lastly, it creates a space for healing. Whether it's emotional wounds, past trauma, blocked energy, stress, overwhelm, breathwork helps to create space where true healing and processing can actually happen. It creates that space for that emotional healing. It creates a safe place for you to release suppressed emotions and stored trauma in a very controlled way. As we engage in conscious breathing, we activate areas of the brain and body where unresolved emotions are often held, giving those feelings a chance to surface and be processed. And by focusing on the breath, we shift attention away from the mind's usual defenses and its chatter, which enables deeper emotional awareness and then release without judgment, which is really what needs to happen in order for this to move through the body and then clear. This practice helps clear those emotional blockages, creating room for new, healthier emotional patterns to emerge. And over time, breathwork fosters self-compassion, inner peace, and a greater capacity for emotional resilience and healing. It is a holistic practice that integrates mind, body, and spirit. And the best part is it's something you can do anywhere and anytime. You can take some of the things that you learn from your breathwork practice into your daily life when you're experiencing stress. So, it is now time to experience the power of breathwork for yourself. Now, this session that we're going to do today is short. It's just designed to kind of introduce you to breathwork. We're going to do some deep circular breathing. We're going to do some holds where you hold your breath. So just be aware of that if that is an issue for you. I just want to make you aware of that before we start, because we don't want to trigger any issues at all. This is not intense. It's not going to be the super intense, fast-paced breathing, because I just want you to have a nice introduction to some breathing techniques. Not all of these would be used in breathwork per se, in different breathwork sessions, but it's just an introduction to focusing on your breath. Okay, so I want us to begin the breathwork session. So as we begin, I want you to get into a comfortable position, comfortable space where you're not going to be interrupted. So if you need to get some earbuds, that would be really helpful. I always like to use an eye mask so that I can block out all light. You can sit down. That's totally fine. Just sitting in a comfortable position, or you can lay down. You can have blankets and pillows. You can put pillows under your legs, whatever feels comfortable for you. And I want you to be open to whatever is going to arise during this session, whether it's emotions, thoughts, or sensations. We're just going to trust the process. If anything ever comes up that's too much for you, obviously you can back off or back out. If holding your breath is bringing up something, just be aware and be comfortable and make sure that you're listening to your body. This is not meant to be super difficult or intense, okay? So I am going to start the music and we are going to get in. So what I want you to do, bring your awareness to your body and notice any areas of tension or discomfort. Allow yourself to fully relax into the surface beneath you. Silently repeat your intention for this session. If an intention comes to your mind, silently repeat that in your mind. That intention could be as simple as releasing stress, connecting to your higher self, whatever feels right for you. Begin with gentle, connected breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your belly to rise, and exhale through your mouth without pausing between breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Focus on creating smooth, continuous rhythm of breathing. Your breath should be relaxed, not forced. We're going to continue in this flow of connected breath for several minutes. Inhaling deeply through the nose as your chest and belly rise, and then exhale slowly through your mouth in a continuous, connected rhythm. Allow any thoughts to flow through your mind. Observe them without judgment or resistance. Allow them to flow out of your mind. Try not to hold on to any of those thoughts, letting them flow as your breath flows. Breathing in and then exhaling. Continue in this connected breath flow, inhaling through your nose, filling your lungs, and then exhaling through your mouth, and relax into the moment. We're going to spend a few minutes here. I want you to just connect. Connecting to yourself, connecting to your breath. You are loved in this space. You are safe in this space. You are safe to feel whatever it is that you feel. Breathing, connecting. Feeling your eyelids get heavier and heavier. The mind chatter slowly releasing. That mental chatter drifting farther from you as you get deeper into that meditative state. Keep that continuous connected rhythm, feeling the calmness that washes over you, knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are connected and you are safe. are slowly going to move into a little bit deeper breathing. Inhale slowly and deeply through the nose, allowing the belly to fully expand. This one's a little bit more force. And then exhale slowly through the mouth, releasing any tension. And again, inhaling deeply through the nose, fully expanding those lungs. And then exhaling slowly through the mouth. And as you do, muscle tension releases. You melt into the surface beneath you. Repeating this cycle of breathing. Deepening the breath with each inhale, lengthening the exhale. Surrender with each exhaling breath. Releasing the muscle tension in your face, your neck, your shoulders. Imagine on one of your exhales the negative energy being blown out of your body and releasing into the air, floating out of you. With every breath, with every exhale, negative energy is leaving you. With each inhale, you're drawing in loving energy to fill that space. Flow in this deeper belly breathing, a little bit more forceful. Push those lungs a little bit deeper on the inhales, and then allow the breath to completely release, emptying the lungs as much as you can, releasing all of that negative energy, all of that tension in deep surrender. Inhaling that loving energy. Imagine yourself in the most beautiful place of safety and beauty, where you can completely surrender, where you are relaxed and safe. Push that inhale a little, inhaling just a little bit more, and then exhaling deeply all of your breath out. Surrender. Continue with that same breathing. I'm just going to give you some space here. Listen to the music, expanding completely into the lungs and exhaling completely out. To move into the active portion of our breath work in a gentle 4, 7, 8 breath. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath at the top for a count of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale completely through the mouth, slowly for 8 counts. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose for 4. Holding the breath for a count of 7. And then exhale completely through the mouth for 8. Repeating this cycle in your own mind. You don't have to count if you don't want to. You can just inhale all the way to the top. Hold the breath as long as it feels comfortable. And then exhale completely through the mouth. If you would like to count, you can stick with the 4, 7, and 8. Repeating this cycle, focusing on releasing any trapped emotions with each exhale. Inhaling in, holding and allowing the thoughts and emotions to come and build during that hold of the breath. And then with each exhale, you're releasing those trapped emotions. Allow that breath to flow however feels good to you. If you like to count, or if you just want to stay in that breath in a way that feels comfortable, whatever feels best to you, and releasing and allowing the emotions to come up. We're going to stay in this breathing pattern for several minutes. Several minutes of release, and I'm just going to pause, and I'm going to give you several minutes to go through this breath pattern, to feel and to allow those emotions to come up and to be processed. Listen to the music and just feel in and connect with that breath. as you begin to reconnect with a more natural breath, we're going to go back to our circular breathing. Connecting to that breath without pauses between the inhale and the exhale. Inhale and exhale. This is a connected breath. It's not forced. You don't have to breathe all the way in. Just connecting in a continuous, connected rhythm. Exhaling naturally, allowing the breath to flow in a circular pattern. Focus on the sensations you feel in your body. Letting the breath gently move through areas of tension or emotional discomfort. Flowing naturally. That circular rhythm that just allows your mind to shut down. You don't have to focus on the breath. Just connect with those emotions as they rise, feeling them, experiencing whatever thoughts, emotions, images come into your mind. Connect with that flow, circular breathing. Allow it to release tension. Body with your mind. Where are those emotions trapped? Where is that tension? Breathe into that area. If you feel tension in your heart space, breathe into that area. Breathe and allow that breath to move that tension, move those emotions up and out. Your breathing slightly, drawing in deeper breaths. Inhale more powerfully. Fill your lungs completely. When you feel you've reached a full inhale, take in a little bit more to expand your lungs, a little beyond what feels natural, and then exhale through the mouth. Powerfully and completely emptying your lungs until you cannot exhale any more air. And then repeat in a continuous rhythm. In through the nose and out through the mouth. You can breathe as quickly or slowly, surrendering to the process, trusting that your body and your breath know what you need. Inhale powerfully. Exhale all the way out. Visualize yourself surrounded by healing golden white light. Feeling it cleanse and rejuvenate every cell in your body. This light is bathing you in the unconditional love of the feminine divine, protecting you through this process. She is healing every part of you. If you feel any resistance, anxiety, or discomfort, breathe into those areas, allowing the breath to dissolve and release the tension. Continue this peak breathing rhythm in full surrender, breathing in and out, surrendering, allowing your body to take over with the breath. Allow your mind to release, and surrendering, subconscious takes over, just breathing in the rhythm. Allow emotions, thoughts to come up. Breathing into that resistance or tension. You are safe. You are loved. You are worthy. this journey, whatever is coming up. Bathing you in unconditional love. Feel the peace through the intense breathing. Feel breath taking over, the mind releasing, loving energy surrounding whatever darkness might be inside in your inner world. Continue in this peak breathing with full surrender. Give you a couple minutes just to experience this peak breathing, allowing emotions to come up. If at any time you feel like you need to vocalize, moan, scream, everything is perfectly fine. Allow yourself to vocalize those emotions if you need to, and then return to your breathing pattern. That vocalization is releasing energy that has been stored in the body. Allow it to come out. Allow yourself to experience it. Allow yourself to feel it. You can moan totally normally. Express whatever needs to be expressed or vocalized in this moment. You are safe in this moment to feel or express whatever needs to come up. If you need to continue moaning, expressing vocally, continue to do so. When you feel ready, begin to return to a natural breathing pattern. Allow your breath, when you are ready, to find its own natural rhythm. Breathing in and out just through your nose. Scan your body, noticing any shifts or changes that may have occurred during this breath work. Bring your awareness to your heart space, acknowledging any emotions or sensations that may have surfaced. Spend a few moments integrating your experience. What did each breathing pattern bring up for you? What did you see or feel? Integrate this experience as you slowly bring yourself back to your normal pattern whenever you're ready. Take a few moments listening to the music and integrating. Place your hands on your heart when you're ready. Take in a deep breath and express gratitude for the healing that has taken place during this journey today. Take a few moments to reflect on your experience and the intention that you set in the beginning, if you did. Take that moment, integrate what you felt. We've now completed the breath work. It's time to gradually begin becoming aware of your surroundings. Slowly start to become aware of the room around you. Anything that you hear, anything that you experience. Wiggle your fingers and toes if you need to. this time to just pause for a moment, basking in the love and the peace that you feel. Take a few moments to let yourself fully return to the present moment. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. Whenever you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. And I want you to just take a moment and see how you feel. Thank you for joining me on this breathwork journey. I hope that this session kind of helped you release some of what may be weighing you down, maybe just get you into a state of relaxation. This was a very, very mild introduction to breathwork. But breathwork is such a powerful tool, and I encourage you to explore it further in your life. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, give a tip in the coffee link if you really enjoyed this, and share this with someone who you might feel could benefit from breath work. Until next time, keep breathing deeply and living fully.